Hi, and welcome to the BDM Perspective. My name is Brian, and thanks for tuning in. If you're new to this channel is meant to inspire and motivate myself and others to try new things and to look at things from a different perspective. So if you like what you see, please think about subscribing and liking this video. All right, without further ado, let's get right into it. So today I wanted to talk about a documentary that I recently watched called The Social Dilemma. It's on Netflix right now, and I definitely recommend you guys check it out. What the documentary is about social media and its current effects on our society in general, just here in the US and just on a global scale as well, and how it's really affected so many different parts of our life in very different ways that we don't even know. So, the social dilemma breaks down how social media actually works and its true way of interacting with us. So, its whole job, Instagram, Facebook, all of those, Twitter, all of them, what their job is to keep you invested on their platform. The longer you're on Facebook, the longer you're on Instagram, the longer you're on any of these platforms, the more views they get. That's exactly what they want. They want you to spend more time on their platform. So they use persuasive imagery. They find the right colors for their buttons. They find the right pictures. They also recommend things for you. They recommend friends, they recommend videos, they recommend posts, they recommend groups. They recommend all of these things, and then they recommend ads for you. And they do this all to keep you there as long as they can. So one of the big quotes in the film, because you might be thinking, well, they recommend these ads and stuff, but you're not buying them. But one of the quotes that they say in the film is that if you aren't paying for the product, you are the product, which is kind of creepy, but not wrong. So the documentary outlines the issues that we have as a society and as people in how we interact with others through the use of social media, and how when we spend so much time on social media, how that really affects us. So one of the big things that they talked about in this film, or the first thing that I'm going to talk about, is how strong of a decline mental health has had since 2010, when Facebook was still just growing at a massive rate and having a huge impact in society, and how there's a big correlation with mental health going down, and many cases of young girls and teens where they're now, they're doing self-harm, and even higher rates of suicide during the rise of Facebook and when it was getting really big. There's a chart and graph in the film that depicts this and depicts it really well to show you how right when Facebook was going up and right when it was having this great, just great outreach with everybody, it was also affecting these teens in this negative way. And so one of the reasons, that this is happening is because before, when you were bullied at school or you were picked on at school, you were able to have that safe haven at home because, you were picked on at school and whatnot, but then you went home and you kind of, you were able to distract yourself, do something else, and kind of just, chill before you had to go back to school and, deal with all that stuff again. But now with social media, kids don't have that. When they go home, they get bullied online. They go on their phones and they might post something. They might be excited about something and they post it, and then people are picking on them online as well. There's no safe haven. There's no escape. It has detrimental effects to these teens and kids. And then as you grow up, as adults, you have to handle it, but it's still difficult. It's still hard. And that's one of the effects of it, especially when you have multiple people viewing you and critiquing you on every single move. There's definitely a mental aspect to all of this that needs to be addressed. Another aspect that is brought up in the film is how divisive these social media and just the media in general has made the world. So the film talks about how these current events that are happening, such as the election here in the US and elections around the world, and also current events such as COVID and how social media has influenced these elections and even influenced how big topics such as COVID are seen and how it's made these topics so divisive. So with social media, we can keep to our corner in our echo chamber and really only listen to one side that we want to. Once we found that side, that little place inside the internet that we can interact with, that is our group, on Reddit, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, just any of them, we keep to that spot. And then what does social media do? Because they know we like it, they'll recommend more of it and more of it and more of it and more of it. And we just continue to get entrenched in this corner, in this group. And we don't hear the other side at all. We don't even know the other side exists. So when the other side brings, another argument, we don't even listen because we automatically believe, like, where is this coming from? This is a lie. From everything that I've heard, you're not telling me the truth. So instead of listening to somebody else and having a conversation and understand, that they might have something good to say or have a basis of why they're saying it, instead we dismiss them and we decide that it's a lie, it's fake, or we just really don't understand what is being said. So we just start, we just don't believe them, and we start believing everything that comes out of the internet and everything that comes out from our corner. And that's when this turmoil occurs. That's when we have all this divisiveness happening. That's when we start, we just don't believe anybody because we don't take a step back and question what we heard from Facebook, what we heard from YouTube, what we heard from Twitter, Instagram, all those, and just the media in general. We take what we find on these sites as truth, and we don't even question if they're actually a reliable source. And that's where we really need to be questioning what this source is, who is saying it, and why are they saying it. And so you might be thinking right now, why am I listening to you, Brian? Why am I listening to you? Like, are you an expert? Do you have credentials? Do you have any of that? And that's a really good question. And that is what you should be asking. You should be asking yourself, why are you listening to me? Why does any of this matter? But you shouldn't only be asking that about me. You should be asking that about every person that you listen to, every person out there, all the media sources, every social media thing that you subscribe to. You should be asking yourself, why am I listening to you? What are your credentials? What kind of message are you trying to spend? And are you making my life better? We need to question if this person is making our lives better or worse, if they're giving us the truth or not. Are they an expert in these fields? But after you do that, you need to figure out by yourself if the content that you're following is actually helpful, productive, informative, or if it's just distracting and hurtful and just hateful in general. I think for myself and my channel in general, I strive to be motivational and positive with the perspective that I bring with every video. I try to let you know that this is information that I find helpful from my perspective and things that I've learned along the way. And from that, you guys need to try it. You guys need to look into that information further and really delve into it, Google search whatever I bring and figure out for yourself. And after you Google search, talk to somebody, talk to a friend, talk to a reliable source that talk to an expert, and just really think about it. And you can figure it out. People can figure this out if something is not true if you want to dig into it, if you want to really know if something is truth or not, you can figure it out. Anyways, back to the film. It ends on a note that not everything about social media is bad, and that the intentions behind social media were actually quite positive. And many of the people that worked on it from the beginning were talking about how they wanted a place where people could like their content, like other people's content, and really just a community, where positive things were being shared. Things such as connecting families, connecting employees to employers, being able to brighten someone's day with a like, being able to post, this picture of your newborn baby and all those life updates and the good news that comes along with it. These are all positive things that, when used as tools, can be very useful to us, and they can be very positive. But what we tend to do as people is abuse it. We start competing for likes, we start trolling people with all these posts, and then we just start rumors about things and just blatant lies. We've twisted what could have been a great and useful tool and abused it. We need to figure out a way for ourselves and our families to control this tool and not have it control us. I really recommend checking out the film. It was really well produced and written. And if you've already watched it, please let me know your comments down below. And then if you haven't watched it, watch it, and then let me know your comments down below. Remember, social media is not a terrible thing. It's what has allowed me to connect with you guys, millions of people to connect with others, and really nowadays, that's what we need more than ever, especially with what's happening around the globe. We need to connect with our friends and families and be able to communicate effectively with them. Because now, more than ever, it's so difficult to really reach out in person to talk to anybody. It's important to reach out through social media and with the technology that we have nowadays. So hopefully you liked the video and you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you guys have any comments, leave them down below. I'd love to read them. Hopefully you liked the video. If you did, please think about liking it and subscribing to the channel. And I hope to catch you guys next time. Have a good one.